So if you've been living under a rock, you are not aware that SIG came out with the 6.8 Spear, and they found a way to get past the pressure limitations of brass, because it's never been a rifle limitation. We've had good enough steel in that to where we can handle exponentially more pressure than you can bring to the table with brass. Well, SIG came up with that, and it was a sloppy design. It worked, it did, it got the job done, but it was a two-piece case, so you're gonna have a whole bunch of manufacturing complexity in there. Well, as soon as they open the door to high pressure, everybody's like, whoa, we need to do that better, because that just opens up a whole new platform, a whole new pile of cartridges that can come out, because once you can bring that pressure up, you can completely change the ballistics. Anyway, people eventually came up with a one-piece design that handles the pressure, and the military took notice of that, especially the Army. So they got a whole bunch of cases. It was something like 40 million cases on order to be able to use. Well, their newest iteration is the 338 HAMR, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, before we get into today's video, don't forget to shop at onlytacticalfans.shopify.com. Look, man, I'm permanently demonetized from YouTube. I don't like doing these merch plugs. I have to do them. It's how I make my living, which right there, I got an order right there. Your guys' support there is honestly what keeps me going. Appreciate that. You guys pay for everything. I have survival gear, medical gear, lockpicks, everything you're going to want if you want to be prepared. So go check it out. I promise if you go and check it out, there'll be something there you will find that you need. Now let's get into it. To the Jumbotron of knowledge. So the U.S. Army's new 338 Norma Mag hybrid. Now it's not going to be Norma Mag, obviously, because they're changing it, but that's what I believe the apparent case is probably going to be similar to, if not. It's an anti-materiel round. It's the XM1224 HAMR. Now, as you notice, it's still got XM, which stands for experimental in the Army, so they may not use this. I think it's got a lot of potential, and I don't know. I think it's going to work out. Anyway, it's a precision upgrade to the MK22 PSR. The case is going to be using that new high-pressure steel case. They want to operate between 85 and 90,000 PSI with a heavy tungsten core for anti-materiel applications. So this is the basic rundown of the rifle currently. Now what you're really paying attention to here is, as you notice, this is a convertible. So you can go between currently 338 Norma Magnum, 300 Norma Mag, 7.62x51 NATO, which is 308, and then the Army's still developing a barrel for the 6.8x51. I kind of think this is going to go out the window because, with these new cases, it kind of makes this round a little bit stupid. So, will they ultimately push forward with the 6.8x51? Maybe. I mean, they got some M107s, or, yeah, is it M107? No. M7s, sorry. Brain fart there. M7, so I mean, maybe they're going to develop a barrel. I think, honestly, that'll probably be scrapped out of this. It's got folding stock. This rifle is currently sub-MOA with the current ammunition and rifle setup. And it's developed by Barrett. So the caliber, it's going to be a 338 Norma Mag hybrid. Again, it's probably going to be slightly different than this because you don't want to be putting these new cases into those old chambers. And I'll explain why in a little while. Again, high pressure casing, 85 to 90,000 PSI. Penetrator tungsten heavy alloy core. And again, it's going to be developed for the sniper rifle. Ignore the spelling errors. I tell the AI what to put on the slides, and it sometimes just kind of does what it wants. So, so they want 1 to 2 million of these rounds produced. So, why is it not going to probably be a standard 338 Norma Magnum case? That's because of the pressure difference and how much different it's going to be on the bolt lug and the bolt extension. Maybe they overbuilt this bolt lug and bolt extension to be able to handle that, but I don't think so. This is what we're looking at here. With your standard 338 Norma Magnum, you're going to be looking at 62 to 65 PSI, 1,000 PSI. With a new high pressure round, 80 to 90,000 PSI. So your bolt case head, that's going to be .588. That with your standard PSI, right? On the one that you already got with that size bolt case, because remember, that's how we're cheating the high pressure in like 6.5 Creedmoor and that, is because the bolt head is so small, there's not a lot to push on to develop a lot of thrust. As a bolt head gets bigger, the amount of thrust it can achieve goes up exponentially. So because that has such a big bolt head, which is over 1/2 of an inch, with your standard bolt face, you're going to be looking at 17,000 to 17,600 foot-pounds of kinetic energy pushing on that bolt, trying to open that chamber up. With the new hammer round, you're going to be looking at 23 to 24,000 pounds pushing on that bolt, trying to open that chamber up. Yes, we can build rifles to handle that. Is the standard Mark 22 able to handle that the way it sits? Probably not, but because it's a convertible and you can put different rifle barrels on there, different extensions, different bolt carriers, they could just make a new barrel and bolt carrier. So you just swap it out and now you're running that. And that's why I think that'll probably be a slightly different dimension than the 338 normal mag. Unless, it could already be built to handle that pressure, but I don't think so because that's a 38 to 43% increase in thrust on the bolt lug and receiver. Possible, yes. Maybe Barrett did build it that beefy, but I think they'll probably just change the diameter or something of the casing and then just call it the 338 hammer instead of the 338 normal mag, and then have a barrel, an extension for that, and basically make the 338 normal mag obsolete, because I think that's the only rifle that shoots that right now. So they could just take that out of the equation, get rid of that out of the military, and then have their new 338s. We'll have to see what happens. Oh, why does the hammer matter? So what they're trying to do here, or what they're claiming to do, is they're trying to find an anti-material round that is lighter than the M107, because the M107 is a heavy system. That is a beast. The M82, yeah, very, very heavy. So they're trying to get a lighter combat load, plus also make it a sniper rifle. As everyone constantly says in like every single YouTube video, look, the M82, the Barrett 50 cal, that is not a sniper weapon. That is an anti-material weapon, and that is because of the limited accuracy on it. So they want one rifle to perform more roles. Now what they're claiming is you're going to get 20% better accuracy out of this M1162. I don't think that's right. I think that's a mistake right there. We'll just say you're supposed to get 20% better accuracy over the current 338 round. So the 338 round with that rifle combination, this is supposed to do better because they want it better somehow. It's supposed to get 75% better accuracy than the current 50 caliber with precision ammunition. These are the two rifles. Bam! M82. This is the Mark 22. This is what they're talking about putting this cartridge in. At 1,000 yards, I mean, we're going to infer some stuff here because we can, all right, so if it gets this much PSI, it's probably going to increase the velocity by this. Putting that into a ballistic calculator, what is that going to look like? At 1,000 yards, it's actually going to outdo the 50. So you're only going to get 200 to 260 inches of drop. Remember, this is inches, not MOA. MOA is a totally different ball of wax. But to keep it so you understand, we're doing it in inches. The 50 is going to be about 300 inches of drop. So it does fly a little bit flatter than the 50. Now, it does have a touch bit more wind drift, so you're going to get 50 to 65 inches. Remember, that's inches of wind drift with a straight cross wind of a 10 mile an hour value. The wind drift of the 50 is going to be 35 to 55 inches. So 50 is right in between there. We'll just go by the max. We're looking at about a 10-inch difference. So it's going to drift this much farther at 1,000 yards than the 50. So in my opinion, that's not that bad. But it does fly flatter. All right, so what are they talking about with MOA? So typically right now, taking your M82 and even putting in match grade ammunition, you're only going to be getting between 1 to 2 MOA. So they must be talking about bringing this rifle all the way down to like a half MOA or 7.5 MOA. Now the old Mark 22 does claim sub MOA, but sub MOA could be 0.99. I don't know exactly what it is. I haven't tested that rifle, so that kind of sucks. But essentially, you're supposed to get 20% better than the old Mark 22, and you're supposed to get 75% better than your legacy 50 caliber ammunition with, or 50 calibers with precision ammunition. So that's pretty awesome. This may not sound like a lot, but it is. For example, let's pretend we're shooting at 1,000 yards. 1 MOA is 10 inches. So you're going to be within 10 inches of where you're aiming. 2 MOA, 20 inches. Now a half MOA, 5 inches. So we're going from right here to right here with an accuracy increase. That's pretty significant. Now, what is the timeline looking like? So they're saying in the first quarter, or second quarter, that's what Q2 stands for. Research and development, basically. That's 2026 and 2027 of the second quarter. They want to award a contract to somebody that hits these qualifications. 2028, first quarter, they are looking to start production. So that's a pretty speedy timeline. We're looking at less than less than 2 years having this bad boy into production. All right, so now the 50 caliber does have logistics. Again, there's no free lunch. For everything you want to go with, there's a price to pay. You don't just get to win. You got to pay a little bit. So 50 caliber right now currently is just better in logistics because aircraft, vehicles, fixed positions, anything the Army can put a 50 cal on, they've been putting a 50 cal on since like World War II. So essentially there's enough 50 caliber ammunition in that should they make a 50 caliber sniper rifle or keep the M82, that's not a sniper rifle, again, it's anti-material, but in a pinch, because 50 caliber ammunition weighs so much, you're not going to bring a whole lot on the battlefield. In a pinch, like say they're in some sort of field setup or like mobile infantry or something like that, and your rifle runs dry, well, you can just break 50 calibers off of their link and start feeding it into your rifle. You're not going to be able to do that with this 338. Currently, with the 338 HAMR, especially if they switch to a different case, that would be the only rifle that shoots that ammunition. So you and your spotter would be the only one that has 338 HAMR to feed this particular rifle. So on the battlefield, way less common. Another downside is payload. Your 50 caliber BMG is going to have 2 to 3 times more front area, and it's going to have a payload increase by 3 to 5 times. What does that mean? So with the 50 caliber, you can load it up with a tungsten core. You can go with an explosive core. You can go with an incendiary core. You can do all the hybrid and do some sort of combination like the Ralphus rounds. They even have depleted uranium cores, DU cores, which is amazing for armor penetration. It doesn't get any better than that because depleted uranium, what's that word? Pyrotectic? It basically starts on fire on impact and it sharpens itself. Where a standard piece of metal, if it slams into something like armor plate, it blunts over and it loses its penetration power. A DU core, it chips off and it makes itself even sharper. So the harder it hits something, the sharper the round gets, increasing its ability to penetrate. It's completely wild against armor. So with their 338 HAMR, you're limited to smaller bullets. Really, the only core you can realistically go with, I mean, unless they got something out there, and they might have some sort of new technology about there, I'm going to make a video about next week. I don't know. Currently, though, with that small of a bullet, the only realistic penetrator you can run in there is a tungsten tip, because there's just not enough payload to put any meaningful amount of explosives in there, and there's not enough payload to make it worth doing a depleted uranium core, because it would be such a small core. So, why is that an issue? Right now, currently, China has 80 to 84% of the global tungsten supply. So, we would be dependent, essentially, on China for 80 to 84% of the tungsten we get for that ammunition. Because, again, you can't swap the payload out for explosives or depleted uranium or something like that. Now, the U.S. is pushing to diversify that through Canada, South Korea, recycling tungsten, trying to get it to so they're not so 80 to 84% dependent on China for this tungsten round. Because that gets pretty tough when you're talking about, we want 1 to 2 million rounds of tungsten core or some sort of penetration core ammunition. All right, so this may have a trickle-down effect in the future. Well, I don't think it'll take 50 calibers off of the vehicles. I think it would bring a brand new machine gun to the table. So maybe then they modernize them too. Maybe I don't think it'll remove 50 cal because 50 cal is just so important for planes and stuff like that because of the payload it can bring. But instead of having like a 50 cal and then an M60 or whatever the 30 cal are currently running. Maybe it'll be a 50 cal and a 338. Maybe they'll make a belt-fed machine gun in this new 338 as a crew-served platform. This way it's more on the battlefield, so your snipers or your anti-materials could feed their rifles should they have to. Now, is that a realistic concern? Probably not. But I mean, if this 338 is developed also for anti-material, why would they be developing a sniper rifle to also be anti-material? Unless they plan on taking on anti-material stuff. Is a sniper rifle by itself good at anti-material? Yeah, you can take out a generator or something like that, but in my opinion, that would be so low on the shit of what I want a sniper rifle to do, because we got drones and stuff like that. I would only be talking about anti-material myself. You know, maybe I'm retarded, which I could be. My just little lizard brain can't think on the massive scale of big army, and I can't figure these things out. But in my opinion, if they're going to be talking about anti-material, they must be intending for this round to also go into some sort of belt-fed machine gun, which would be designed for taking out material, like cars and stuff like that. Because would you rather shoot at it one time with a sniper rifle while this little jihadi's in there getting ready to blow everything up? No, you're going to want to take that thing down. So in my opinion, the anti-material would be irrelevant unless they also plan on replacing the 30 cal machine guns with 338, which they do kind of already have a 338, but that's the wrong ammunition. The point is, like, I could definitely see them making a belt fed in this to replace the 30 cals that are currently mounted on vehicles or in fixed position. So this may have a trickle-down effect. We may not only see this become out in a sniper rifle, but also become in a belt-fed machine gun, bringing up the logistics win. But we'll have to see how all that grows. Whoa, what happened there? Anyways, appreciate you guys watching my videos. I hope you found it entertaining, or maybe even just a little bit educational. If you did and like to help support the channel and like to see more videos like that, don't forget to shop at onlytacticalfans.shopify.com. If you don't want to spend any money but you'd like to support the channel, the next best way to do is click on that Amazon affiliate link. Even if you don't buy what that link is for, just clicking on it. Doing the Amazon shopping you were already going to do anyway. And I'll kick back for it because you came there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.